Good evening. Firstly, I'd like to start with this picture with a lady called Evelina Simkute, who unfortunately passed away recently. She is this amazing, inspiring woman who was the first one to tell me about urban gardening, what it is in our city, in the neighborhood where I grew up in, and what's the value of this practice of urban gardening for her. And she spoke about being active at old age, being healthy, having friends to speak to, and spending time outdoors and being in fresh air. And she has been gardening in this amazing place for many, many years. And Evelina told me about, so what is this place? This place is quite unique, not internationally, but for Lithuania, definitely. It is an urban garden that is based in a First World War heritage site, which is a fort. And you can see it right in the middle of this little world where you see these hills. There are tunnels under the ground, and you see a big council estate at the top, and it's called Šilainiai neighborhood. I grew up in this neighborhood and I live and work here now. Yes, so this site is around 10 hectares of land. It's quite a big place. And urban gardens, if you look at the top, you can see from here lots of allotment looking places. So the top bit is where urban gardens are and have been since interwar period. So what happened is I learned about the space from Evelina Simkute back in 2018. Then I went to Tallinn, actually, to Lasnamäe, and saw all the amazing work that happens there with urban gardens, how successful and valuable the project is, and really that gave me the courage to get involved with urban gardens here, as I'm not an urban gardener, I'm an artist, and I'm a cultural producer and curator. So after this experience, inspiration in Tallinn, I found a colleague, Ruta Lukošiūnaitė, who's a sustainability practitioner, and we started the work. So we firstly met with all the gardeners, and there was a lot of challenges in this place, as it was, the tunnels have been abandoned for 100 years, and I've been involved in doing all sorts of cultural activities there. And there's also a Natura 2000 reserve, a bat reserve in the tunnels, and that's where bats sleep in winter. And there's a huge, huge community that use the space for urban gardening and for culture and leisure purposes. So my main role became to be this mediator and between different stakeholders, and this is our main partners, Kaunas Fortress Park, it's a public institution funded by Kaunas municipality, and it has two functions. So first, to look after Kaunas forts, so they're safe and they can be accessed, and secondly, adaptive use, so finding adaptive use to these before abandoned spaces, and also Kaunas municipality by funding this essential work, Lithuanian Council for Culture and Actors of Urban Change, adding to funding of our cultural activities and educational activities programming. So this is the first meeting with our main partners, Kaunas Fortress Park, and for the first time, all of these amazing gardeners agreed that they're there. They can continue to garden. We agree to collaborate with Kaunas Fortress Park. We agree that we really share this community and institutions share this main vision, which is that this fort number 8, needs to be a historic park with functional spaces for culture and community gardening. And also we agreed to the main values of work, that this work needs to be in harmony between nature, humans, and heritage. And all of these 3 elements are important equally. And so yeah, we started working together and encouraging community activities and well-being and health, etc. So, and of course, the main, most important people, for me anyway, on the ground are these amazing, wonderful women and men who work and have been working on the site for many, many years, and who are local experts of growing food, variety of food, and also orchards, not only vegetables, it's apples and cherry trees and nut trees of various kinds growing in the area. And they have so much knowledge, and most of them are seniors, so they have time. They spend almost every day. Some of them you can see in the gardens when it's warm, and they're you know, they're super friendly. They're super friendly to share, and they're very generous with their time to share their experience and knowledge of that. So myself and Ruta talking to the gardeners, our task was, well, to know what is our main goal, what do we want to do. And there was a lot of uncertainty in the are. Are these gardens going to stay? So first goal was, of course, to save the gardens. So this place stays, urban gardens, for not only now, but in the future as well. And the gardeners these ladies were speaking about that they, you know, they will pass away someday, and they would love this space to stay open and a place to garden after them as well. They were also speaking about access to the site. They were speaking about safety and also access to water. And I will share now some of these things that we managed to do together with our partners and the gardeners. Excuse me. So this is the first step that we did in spring 2019. We erected these raised beds, and that was the goal was to test out how could we invite and open up the gardens to people who are completely new to urban gardening, who have no idea and have no experience how to grow from seed and grow by themselves. So we tested these beds, and these beds were communal, so we would look after them together. I would be in space every Wednesday evening, and anybody can come and do a little watering, do a little gardening, and also share what we grow. And we grow everything from cherry tomatoes, all sorts of herbs, a variety of different foods, really. And the second type of beds, which we started this year because we saw there was a lot of interest, and really a lot of people who wanted to join, were individual beds, which means that it's beds 1 meter by 1 meter, and you have your name on the bed, done by local artists, and you grow and you learn from experience with the help of these local experts, these urban gardeners, ladies and gentlemen who know all the things about growing. And what was really beautiful to see, that even this year, these beds, when they were erected, when it was really tough to work, 12 new beds appeared. So means each bed has its gardener or a family who looks after it. And this bed is Dinah's, and she was helped out by one of the ladies and learned how to plant plants together, that they would companion each other and grow better in the bed, which was very successful. Big harvest of tomatoes and very healthy tomatoes. One other challenge that we had was the psychological feeling of in the space. As in Lithuania, I'm not sure how it is in other countries, and especially in Kaunas, in our neighborhood, we had this view of urban gardening that maybe it's something that is not suitable for the city, and that urban gardeners, you know, they're not very, I don't know, I will use some strong words. They're at times called criminals, and they're really doing the wrong thing, and they do this, you know, using this common land, and they're doing really bad things. But really, one of the main jobs that I'm doing now is communication and telling the story of why urban gardens are so amazing and the value of urban gardens, and that urban gardens happen all around the world, not only in the Baltics. And friends from Tallinn played a really amazing part of raising this spirits of senior urban gardeners in the area. We also organized urban furniture workshops last year, and we continued this year of really trying to use our own hands to make things, to make benches to sit, and to make spaces that could be used for everybody. One of the spaces that we started to work on this year was a space slightly on the side of urban gardens, and it was set space for youth that we're started working on this year. And this was an event where different groups, youth groups who are interested in urban gardens, and who were growing, most of them, food for the very first time, showed their creativity, shared their creativity as well, which was really beautiful. And of course, the space was shared by everybody. It doesn't matter what your age is. And you could have these amazing new conversations happening between different generations and what is important to them and why. Second thing happened this year, and the challenge that we had is rubbish or materials that were left on site by various people, just bringing their rubbish and just dumping it there when nobody watches. And there's a lot of stuff accumulated over time. So an architecture scenography studio, Tak and artist architect Džiugas Karalius joined in this year, and they made sculptures. So looking into these goals that were set and that were sort of expressed by the urban gardeners, thinking about safety and also water, access to water and how to retain water. There were two objects made. One was these experimental water collectors, I'd say, and also a sort of a seating place, interesting creative bench, I would call it. You can see more pictures of finished work on Šilainiai project website. And the third sort of challenge, or maybe actually really amazing thing that we have that we really did not know, was the nature, and it's so valued amongst the, I mean, it doesn't matter what your age, but especially the youth who come and use the space just to be and to hang out with their friends. And for us in this big neighborhood with 50,000 people, we really lack these green spaces. And before it was quite unsafe. This, you can see a picture of this beautiful meadow in July this year, and this space have had a challenge of Sosnovsky hogweed, which we have a lot of, but this area has been looked after intensely for the past 4 years. and the natural biodiversity is coming back with all sorts of seeds, sort of birds flying around, and it becoming really, really diverse. And for this, to find out about the local biodiversity, we did a special event program of biodiversity with the help of naturalist Thomas Pot, who's here. We did a series of events trying to find out who lives in this fort, who lives in our gardens, what birds, bugs, and also what grows, what interesting thing grows. And this is photos of the night moth watch, which was, I'd say, one of the most successful events that I've ever experienced. It was families coming together, all generations, and learning, searching and learning together about our environment and where we are and the valuable nature around us. Which was really great. We also collected data through these events. We used an app called iNaturalist, which is a free app where you can take photos of plants and insects and mushrooms and whatever wild things you find, and upload them. And that's the way to create an online map with all the data. There's more than 6,000 photos on there, and then in response to that, 2,406 species right now have been identified by professionals, professional naturalists. So that was really great. We also have bats. We have Natura 2000 area, and it was amazing to learn about bats as well, with the help of ornithologist Mindaugas Kirstukas. Yes, I'm coming to an end, which is really, really nice. What have I? I wanted to say that we are, our work is, we're in our second year now. So we're at the very beginning, I'll say, of our journey. We have a lot of challenges ahead. And yes, lots and lots of them, but I try to look at them creatively and have two things in mind. So first, that we are ourselves able to do a lot of things, and or are able to find help, and second, to keep these values in mind, and I think you can go a long way. So when you're able to travel, you're more than welcome to explore Kaunas Fort number 8 and our garden area. It's always open when it's a good day and it doesn't rain. You can have a walk or look more for more information on Facebook, Šilainiai saada, and this is email, and also wider Šilainiai project website where I work with culture and other things. I think I haven't mentioned some things I forgot, but maybe they'll come up in the questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Evelina. We didn't have any questions yet, but yes, everyone is, I think, amazed by your dedication. And yeah, I feel myself as well, like Nina wrote here in the chat, that your artist viewpoint is very valuable here. So keep up everything that you do. If there are no other questions, if there are, you can still write them, even if we don't answer them at the moment, we can answer them later. Maybe what I would ask you is, what do you think, do you have ambition to maybe start some new urban gardens in Kaunas, or do you feel that you have managed to maybe inspire or spark some other initiatives in other places in Lithuania?
I have been approached by a few people that have ideas and would like to maybe start something in their neighborhood or even in their organization as well that they work in. And they would come to the workshop, or they would watch us on Facebook. What do we do? And like I say, it's really early days for us, and the project, and especially the context of where we are, it's quite unusual and unique, especially working with heritage and nature at the same time. So I think I definitely see people approaching us, and I believe give us a couple more years. I think there's going to be more urban gardens springing up in Kaunas, and I know there's already a lot of action happening in Vilnius, which is Lithuanian capital. There's a lot of urban gardens springing up here, and also I think not forgetting individual gardeners all around the neighborhood. There used to be so many people, just, you go outside your block of flats and you see these beds, and there's vegetables grow. In the recent times, there's been less and less of that. But I think it's to do with this image of urban gardening is not very good, or it's not meant to be in a city. And I think by communicating actively that urban gardening is amazing and you should keep doing it, and it's beautiful and it's valuable for both humans and the city, and it's health and sustainability, and it's all of those things. So I think looking into that, I hope there's going to be more of these individual gardeners too.
Thank you. There are a few questions now. Maybe you can develop more what you just said, and imagine yourself now 10 years in the future. How does your project look in 10 years?
We tried with Ruta and with all the gardeners, we tried to look 4 years ahead. I think I tried to not to dream too hard, but so far we've been on the plan of those 4 years, which is amazing, having known that times change. So I would love the area to be, I think, even more accessible, a society to be even more accessible to seniors, to young families, and disability friendly, so the site access improved. I would also love there to be something, at the moment we have no electricity, no shelter. If it rains, we stand in the rain. So something that would keep us from shelter, and just basic needs of improved. And I think that would go a very long way. Also partnerships, new partnerships. And I know there's things in the plans for next year to do with organizations working with public health. And I think speaking about public health and psychological health, urban gardening can go a very long way in preventative measures, and also helping people to deal with things in a very practical manner. So with the new area that we're developing, I hope to encourage these partnerships, and that more people can join, and really looking into try to find urban garden on a heritage site, and find one in New York. That was Battery Park, where more than 200 people at the same time can garden and feel safe and feel comfortable and learn, and use the space in harmony with nature and heritage. And that's a sort of vision, with partnerships, also schools. So yeah,
a lot of plans. And last questions, because you do focus a lot on local elderly people. what do you find challenges and advantages in engaging them?
Firstly, I'll start with advantages. Because they have a lot of knowledge. They're just full of experience and knowledge that they have, and they're all very diverse people with very different experiences and different knowledge. And they have a lot of time. They can be with you from morning, well, go for lunch, and then all the way into the evening. And so this is a very valuable thing, and usually very generous with their time, and enjoy communicating and with and working with different people, which is great. Advantages, challenges. Well, I'd say it's more practical challenges of knowing that the limitations of our body, and understanding that I'm a young person and I might move in space in different way, and I might allow myself to be in space in different way. So challenges come when you organize something, an activity, a educational activity or cultural activity, and now thinking, can a senior person access this space? Is it going to be comfortable? Is it going to, are they going to be able to see where they are? So I think limitations of the body and understanding as an organizer that my body moves in a different way, and really adjusting plans to their needs. I think that would be the main challenge.